Good evening and welcome to the third and final instalment of the German trilogy. After trips to Darmstadt and Kaiserslautern, we are now in the delights of Stuttgart, where Notts will be taking on Stuttgart's second team, Stuttgart Kickers, on Tuesday evening. Hopefully we should have about 100 Notts fans there, I will be estimating. Two others will be the gentlemen joining us. They're a bit of a Morecambe and Wise kind of double act, really, who those of you who saw them after the game against Darmstadt. That's Kim and Eltel. Evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Paul.
Definitely like Morecambe and Wise. Right. So on the show tonight, I don't know what we're going to talk about. There's a fair bit, isn't there?
There is.
There is. Have we seen that Barry Cotter's red card has gone viral? It was in the Sun, you name it, it's gone global in the last 24 hours, not necessarily for the right reasons. What are your thoughts on that? I have seen some Notts fans arguing that it was only a yellow. Not totally sure about that, but let's see.
Well, with the Notts fans being down the opposite end, it was at some distance, and it was nearer to the touchline on this side, mid centre circle type. But I did see it, and it was rather rash.
Hey, look, let's be honest, disgraceful challenge.
I thought it was a red, to be totally honest.
I did as well, yeah.
Lads, clear red. The one thing that not many people have spoken about, for me, is put aside the fact it was a friendly. We were already losing 3-0. So it don't make no difference whether that guy's gone and run 80 yards and scored, really, does it? I mean, the game was over, and it was only a friendly and only a training ground workout anyway. But look, we'll come on to that in a minute, and we'll see if any of the flock think it was only a yellow or not even a yellow. Let's see what people have got to say on that. Recruitment, I think, is a subject that a lot of us are, I think it's fair to say, a little concerned about at the moment, particularly in the area of goalkeeping. The trialist, or the lad who played the last 30 minutes of the game at Kaiserslautern on Saturday, was Max Borek, a Polish keeper, young keeper, was at Hibernian for a couple of seasons, and he made a couple of appearances, was loaned out to Arbroath for 12 games. He's had a short trial at Crewe in this summer after being released by Hibernian, and he's now with Notts. We shall see whether he is given any more game time tomorrow against Stuttgart Kickers. I guess a lot of us are also looking up top as well. Since we last had a show, David McGoldrick has signed for Barnsley. What are your thoughts and views on Didsey going to South Yorkshire? What else have we got to discuss? Does it bother you, the results on the pre-season trip so far? 2 down in 20 minutes against Darmstadt, 3 down in 9 against Kaiserslautern. If I'm being brutally honest, the results don't particularly concern me because they're not going to define our season. But I think the way Martin Patterson left the pitch on Saturday, he wasn't particularly happy bunny, was he? Right, okay. As always, we like informed opinion. We'll go to the message boards in a moment. But Kim and Eltel, they've done both games so far. They're in Stuttgart, like I am as well at the moment. They've used a couple of weeks holiday up. Give us your overview of the tour, guys.
Retirement holidays. The tour overall.
Yeah, just give me a view.
Nice to come out here. My first time travelling for many years, and I took the opportunity to come with the more experienced Kim on getting my way around. Loved every minute of it. But from a Notts point of view, I thought we could have played sides that's more of our standard and level, to determine where we lie for skills wise on the pitch, etc. Any comment, Kim?
Well, yeah, well, it all depends the way you look at it, because you can say, well, it gives us an idea of what what it's like when we're playing teams 2 divisions above us. Tomorrow we're playing a team that's the same level as us, the 4th tier in Germany, and we're from the 4th tier in England. So that gives us an idea. But then again, when we first got here, we went to Kickers Offenbach and FSV Frankfurt to look at the stadiums. Now they're both in the 4th division. So if we're playing teams like that, and then Stuttgart Kickers will have played 3 games in the 4th division, a 4th division opposition, and would that give us a better idea of where we are? But it's all a matter of opinion.
Yeah, and I think you raised, both of you guys, a very interesting point there in terms of the quality of the opposition. We've been out there. Some of our flock will have seen the game against Kaiserslautern. Both of those are not just championship teams, but pretty decent championship teams. Bundesliga 2. Yes. My son Harry he was talking to some of the Kaiserslautern fans, and they were saying that was basically their full team. They had the main striker, the main midfielders. I think he said to me there were probably 1 player down from what would probably be near as, damn it, a starting 11. So that kind of tells you how seriously Kaiserslautern were taking that game, and as I mentioned the podcast, their next home game is against AS Roma. Now, that kind of puts things into perspective, and they are going at it hell forever against Little Notts County. Although I have to say, after 50, I would have hoped we might have kept it goalless for at least the first minute of the game.
Yeah. But Paul, on paper, the starting 11 that was against Kaiserslautern wasn't on paper a bad side, and to say that it changed it around from the Darmstadt opening 11, you don't think that he's looking to play against who we played Stuttgart Kickers, and even the Cardiff City friend, and even the Cardiff City friendly. He's got to have some idea now for that first starting 11, even though one is a friendly tomorrow night and an English pre-season friendly at Meadow Lane on the 2nd of August. No, it's not the 2nd of August. For the friendly at home against Cardiff.
From what you've seen, Kim, how far down the line do you think Martin is in terms of being anywhere near a starting 11? He's made the point in one of his interviews that he kind of wants some more players on the board, I think was his way of using it. Now, Jody Jones has joined up but hasn't played yet. Unfortunately, Jata is back home, having not been able to get a visa according to the club, and he can't play in at least the first 2 games of the league season anyway.
As a football supporter, As a football supporter, I tend to think the manager should know a lot more than I do. And I'm just thinking, I'm not quite sure what's happening at the moment. It's slightly worrying. And as I say, going back to the fact that we've played 2 teams, both 2 divisions higher than us, we can look back and say, okay, well, that was. But if tomorrow is the same outcome, then we have got a problem, I think. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, I think these 2.
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Kind of breaking up a bit, Paul.
Yeah, okay. We'll keep trying. The German internet should be better than ours, but we've actually found something that Britain is better than Germany at. The Wi-Fi has been a bit of a nightmare all the time that we've been out here. I think in fairness to Martin, whether he would have chosen these fixtures, I'm not so sure. But I think your point is a good one, Kim, that tomorrow we will have a much better barometer of where we are, because we are playing, broadly speaking, a similar level of team. And I guess one of the challenges Martin has had is that he's trying to instill certain ways of playing, But the reality is, us three would have had as many touches, or not many less, than any of the Notts County strikers in those first 2 games, because they've been so starved of the ball further up the pitch. Let's get a few comments from the message.
Okay.
Richard Elvian, a lot going on. Looking forward to some good news to weigh out our concerns. A couple of stellar signings, please. In regards to the various issues you raised at the start of the programme, Paul, we can't control that, but hope all is resolved appropriately. Nigel Cameron, manager, players, signings, departures, and the innocent until proven guilty. Far more questions than answers, he says. David Dawes adds, if you look after players, and this is talking with regards Lewis, we could be expecting a ban of 6 months or more. We'll pick up the story that's broke today regarding Lewis Macari a little bit later in the programme. Royston, evening all. What a few weeks it's been, and to think there's more to come. There indeed is, Royston. Gazzalee, counting the days down to Newport. There's not too many of them. Worst pre-season ever. No optimism. Underwhelming. Hoping Jody is not the next out of the door. Evening from Ian Haywood, from Kay, and from Stephen Newton. Kay adds, to even challenge to stay in the top half of the table, we need at least 3 top quality signings. Evening from Ray Newton. Chris B, unproven director of football, unproven head coach, underwhelming signings. I can't say that I'm confident for the season. Chris B, Cotter deserved the red, but I think he went to trip him, but the lad was too quick. Big Meech says, literally everyone is on a downer here. The team will take time to gel and for the manager to implement tactics and formation. Get behind the lads. Chris Gosling, don't think this tour was the best preparation for a new head coach who is looking to see what his squad is capable of. Clearly, the last 2 games were against teams levels above us. Richard Elvian, a year in Barnes, and then he can come back again to us.
More so with kind of flouting.
Royston, Cotter is the new Chopper Harris. Chris Gosling adds, despite the result, I thought Iapenda looked like a real physical beast in the middle of the park, which I think will be very useful in League 2. I do think of the players new to the game and from the limited amount of time that we've seen them, Chris, I'd agree with you. I think Iapenda kind of offers us something a little bit different. He's leggy, he's rangy, he's strong, he's powerful. He likes to run with the ball directly. Albeit at a much lower level, a kind of a Paul Pogba type, I think, of midfielder. Colin Metcalf, I buy my season ticket to watch what is on the pitch in the season. Not bothered at all about pre-season results. I'll make my judgment after 10 or so league games. You sound, Colin, just like Stell. We win 10-0, 10-0. He says, I'll formulate an opinion after 10 games. Same here, Colin, says Ian Haywood. Big Meat says, should have kept Didsey. I heard they offered him half the salary of last year. Richard Elvian, combine the best 11 for Tuesday, ? I think Martin will again be looking, the phrase is getting minutes into legs. Ultimately, this is all about fitness, really. That's 90% of what we're out here for. So I suspect he will be balancing fitness alongside the need, in the eyes of many of our supporters, I guess, for a result rather than to be 2 or 3 down in the opening 45 minutes, and it being little more than a jogging session in the second half. Lucas says, looking forward to the Stuttgart Kickers game tomorrow. Feel like it's more of a beneficial game. Richard Elvian, Jata, not in the B team squad at the weekend. Not noticed whether he was or he wasn't. Evening from Karen Knight. Ian Haywood, he's not happy. To me, it looks like we're an employment agency. Not so sure about some of Any news on the ruler, says Richard Elvian. Apologies for being late, says Dave Hartshawn. £10 fine, payable to me, cash. Paul Sills, evening all, and he's Nick Cerula.
Gone against Lost. Lost on the airwaves, Paul. That does nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. You can see me nodding my head.
It's gone.
It's gone somewhere. Paul? No, Paul. No, Paul's gone.
Mm.
I'm not logging off.
No. Keep it on.
We might just start for the hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right.
It's just that
They can hold it by the
they've
hand.
got, I presume he's still talking
I presume.
his end because he's live, but he's just not picked his tool. We're the problem at the minute.
We've been on for
16.
it's at 17.
Nearly.
17.
Yeah, I know we have. Yeah.
Right,
No.
folks.
But
I hope you're still with us. Just when you
Yes, we
think
are.
Yep.
just when you think it can't get much worse, the typical Germanic efficiency deserts us. And I've just seen Casseri's comment. Get Stuart to repair your Wi-Fi. I shouldn't laugh at that one, but it's quite sharp.
Oh.
Very good. That.
Yeah.
80 Clark, just tune in. Paul and Stell have changed a lot over the summer. Hopefully for the better, AD. Oh, dear me. Right, let's come back to you two guys. I'm glad you didn't go anywhere. I don't know what happened to me. I've had to now go on to my 3K wireless broadband. Stuart's just sent me a message of how to do it. So anyway, right. Of the players you've seen so far,
Kim, we got
Tom Iapenda was mentioned. I quite like the look of him. What's your thoughts, guys?
Yeah, get stuck in. Knowledgeable player, Kim.
So I agree with you. He had a good start, didn't he? Really, it was seemed to know what he was doing. Potential, do you say, to be in the team? Good potential. Good potential.
I mean, let's just.
But it's early days. I mean, when you change the 11 round from after, 11 off, 11 on, 11 off. To me, not really, but say it's all about getting leg fitness in the legs and etc. Let's hope there's some improvement in this third game.
Yeah, I mean, I think as I said,
but yes, some decent signing. Could do with some others. Yeah,
and I think recruitment is I think the major concern among the fan base at the moment, more so than individual results on a pre-season tour. Let's just square away David McGoldrick. So David could not reach an agreement with the club for an extension of his contract, and he joined Barnsley last week. What are our thoughts, Flock, on that? I think it's a massive loss. And I'll tell you one thing, you know me, I don't like the stats and all the rest of it, but I did look one or two things up. And people talk about David McGoldrick, will he be able to play games, injuries, all of that. So I looked at all, you can go onto these sites. And so I looked at the amount of minutes David McGoldrick played last season.
Yeah.
And he was in the top 8. So of our 23, 24, 25 player squad, he played more minutes than every other player bar 7. So personally, I don't really buy that. And I think ability-wise, the fact he's been able to sign for Barnsley, level, yeah. And it's a very interesting interview he's done. If you get a chance to look at it on the internet, I think with BBC Radio Sheffield, you know, and he talks about his ambition, he talks about his drive. Guys, what do you think about David McGoldrick leaving?
Breaking up, Paul.
Yeah, guys, what do you think?
But to say that David is 37, slightly injury prone at his age, missed some vital periods last season, and you know, we need the player. We need the player on the pitch. And I can fully understand the
good old German.
To me, at 37, slightly injury prone. Missed vital periods of the season. We need a player of his experience on the pitch more often than not on it at all.
But
oh dear, it's now the turn of Morecambe and Wise to leave us temporarily. Hopefully they will be back with us shortly. Jürgen Halligan says, should have offered a 12-month contract to Didsey. He will be sorely missed. Chris Gosling, Didsey, the rest were out with long-term injuries, or so it felt. Yeah, I think the point I'm trying to make, Chris, is that I thought he played plenty enough minutes, you know, and the fact he won the various awards, for me, I still think he had a considerable amount to offer the club, you know, not least 20 goals. John Parr says, I keep telling people that other than Jata, who is going to get the goals? Most of the goals from last season, Abbott, Crowley and Didsey all have gone. We've lost all of those goals. You cannot put a price on his experience, says A.D. Clark, or his influence off the pitch. Even on the bench, gives everyone a huge lift. We may have lost David McGoldrick. We have now got back Morecambe and Wise, Kim and Eltel. Kim, what are your thoughts on Mr. McGoldrick?
There we are.
Yeah, Kim.
Well, as I previously said, whether you heard me or not, I think at his age, to get a move to a club in a higher division, as far as he's concerned, it's got to be a good move, hasn't it?
What I think would have been interesting, though.
Not saying it's good for Notts County. I'm not saying it's good for Notts County, but for him, you know, it would be a good move.
Budgie says, get these guys on every week. Brilliant. We will see what we can do.
Well, you just try and say what you think, don't you, really? Yeah. As I said before, I'm not in the football.
Football is one of those beautiful games, Kim, Eltel. We all think we can do a better job than the people that can actually do it. You know, it's one of them jobs. We all have an opinion.
It is.
Martin Patterson.
It is. It is.
Personally,
That's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah. That's the problem. I know.
Yeah. Deep down about McGoldrick, personally myself, is that we needed him more on the pitch. And look, my opinion, I think the board's made the right decision.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is all about opinions. Colin Metcalf says, it looks to me like we are changing direction with recruitment, focusing more on teamwork and physical attributes. rather than flashy moments of brilliance, something I felt we lacked last season. John Parnham, I thought that the Cotter foul was blatant and he should have been given a stiff warning to set the tone for the future. Several of you have also mentioned, and I'd have some sympathy with this from Nott's perspective and Barry's perspective. Sometimes you see the referee go over to the dugout, tell the manager to make the substitution, but you keep it at 11v11. So from the perspective of both sides, it continues to be a meaningful game. Soon as it went to 11-10 and we're 3-0 down, let's be honest, we're all thinking it's going to be 8 or 9 at that point.
We was learning how to defend.
I
didn't see the point of us going to 10. You'd have thought he's off, he's been taken off, so we'll put another person in his place. Cotter's gone, bring somebody else on, because it's pointless having an 11-10 in a friendly, isn't it, really?
But as I understand it, there are no issues with him not being available at the start of the season. There was a point in time where pre-season sending-offs did count, but I believe they have now kind of changed those disciplinary rules.
Right.
Just play Will Jones as a 10. Don't let him worry about defensive responsibility, which he's never done particularly well. And he will create and score goals. Jurgen Halligan, Barry should have been subbed straight away. Okay. On the recruitment side of things, it's so difficult to judge players coming in. But what we do know is we've lost a lot of quality. I think that's undeniable. You have lost one of the best 2 or 3 goalkeepers in this division with Alex Bass. We have lost David McGoldrick, Player of the Year in the PFA Team of the Year. We've lost George Abbott back to Tottenham, one of the single best players in the world too. And to be honest, there's nothing you can do about George Abbott. We sold Dan Crowley. I'm a big fan of Crowley. I don't think we've replaced him yet. Now, the players that we're bringing in, football's a team game. Some of the parts and all of that sort of thing, as one of the posters there has mentioned, some of the parts, football, a team game. But at this moment, I would be concerned about a loss of quality in key areas of the team. And I look around and some of the players that we are bringing in, some of the players that we are looking at on trial, and they're all perfectly respectable players. But every team needs its stars and its match winners. And I think at this moment in time, 2.5 weeks before the start of the season, we are quite deficient. Discuss.
Right. Paul, are you trying to cheer us up or what? You're doing a great job. We're all very happy now, Paul.
Throwing an opinion out there, guys. Come on.
No, you're totally right.
As much of Notts County as anybody on the planet this season. Right? So
what you said is right. What you said is right. Yeah, what you said is right.
Paul, have we got a name that's going to sell shirts from the club shop? Like McGoldrick's gone, Bass has gone for the goalkeeper's top. Which name is going to come out top on the players' shirts from the club shop?
Well, the way this show is going, they'll all have Eltel on the back.
No, Paul Mace. I was thinking of Paul Mace, to be fair.
No, I'm an only child. My son is an only child. That's enough faces, I can promise you. Okay, I mean, clearly...
Because it's all to do with the... we do. But let's hope...
do you think we've got enough, as it stands, do you think we've got enough goals in the squad?
No. Very little. Okay. Darmstadt after 60 minutes, an improvement. scored 1 goal, a very well worked goal. Kaiserslautern was a no match for me after 10 minutes of being 3-0 down, and we had one tipped over the bar. I think it was tipped over, and a Callan Gordon shot on target, and I couldn't see where. Look, we've got to look at tomorrow's night.
Yeah, exactly.
Tomorrow night's game.
Yeah. If we have a great result tomorrow, it puts a slightly different slant on everything. We're all in a better mood. That's what it comes down to, really.
You ask these questions where the goals are going to come from. We haven't had the opportunities to prove that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to speak holistically here, and as several have mentioned here, Ian Haywood, Jody Jones, David Elphick, Jody Jones. Of course, Jody needs to rediscover his best form. He was Jody's not appeared yet.
Did he get married? Yeah, he just joined the squad the other day, 2-3 days ago. Yeah. Yes, let's hope he can provide a few more decent crosses and make some chances.
Yeah, I thought, I don't know where you were on Saturday. Didn't see you. I thought it was quite funny when the director of football, Roberto Gagliardi, found himself among a clump of Notts fans, and one wag shouted out, get your checkbook out, go and sign Macaulay Langstaff, and sadly, I don't think that's going to be happening, although I will be very interested to see whether Macaulay does move away from Millwall, because clearly they've signed another striker, haven't they? So they're going to have to cut the losses on him at some point, because clearly they're paying out a large sum of wages at the minute, and he's not going to be involved. I'm not really sure, much as I would love to see him back here, I'm not sure that that's a goer. I'll tell you one thing I've seen, guys, your thoughts on this. We didn't go up last year, and I think Wimbledon taught us a lesson in the dark arts, bullying, those sorts of things, call it what you will. And I think then the brothers kind of had an option. Do they tweak the system a bit to go what I might call a little bit more mainstream? Yeah, in terms of, if you look at the characteristics of squads and head coaches who have won promotion, fairly formulaic system out of League Two for most of the last 3 years. It does appear they've kind of almost doubled down a little bit the other way, and we're looking to get, value, whatever value is. It's a subjective phrase. We're judging Notts without Jata, without Jody Jones at the moment from these two games, who are clearly massively influential players to us. I guess at the minute, how concerned are you with the current situation? And you would like to think we would have an experienced keeper signed and in between the posts for the start of the season. That certainly has been the inference from Martin Patterson in the way that he's been talking.
Yeah, we need, let's hope young Boric is as good as his father. But we need that experience. Young Griffiths from Forest he's been between the sticks, even though he's let 5 goals in. So we need some experience there. There was talk of the American keeper coming back, Miller. Probably any more on that, Kim?
Don't know. Open mind about that.
Yeah, the American keeper didn't get a game. Just understudy while Slocum was out, injured, wasn't he? Towards the tail end of the season. Do you know anything else on that, Paul?
Well, the short answer is no. And this is how we all play, fan hat, outrageous suggestions.
Yeah.
I'd be having a word with Harrogate and Paul Belshaw. James Belshaw. I'd have a word with him. He's a not fan. He came close to coming. He was ready to come 2 years ago. Would have walked here, right? Club weren't as keen to sign him as he was keen to come here on a not dissimilar, if you like, kind of contract as David McGoldrick took. personally, I think you need an experienced keeper. Personally, that's
I do.
It's a pure preference. Very difficult to be successful unless you've got a keeper who's very reliable. And one of the things that I give the brothers great credit for, and lots of things I give them great credit for, if you look at their recruitment at this stage or 2 or 3 weeks earlier than last season, they realised defensively that we were poor. They signed an experienced keeper in Alex Bass. They signed an experienced defender in Jacob Beddoe. And they signed an experienced centre half in Matty Platt. All 3 players with, I'll use the word pedigree at this level, and possibly higher, all players who 8 or 9 times out of 10 will be available and play 40 games a season. And that's exactly what those 3 did. It's exactly what those 3 did, and were clearly a mainstay in us being significantly better defensively. And I'm just, I don't know if surprised is the right word or not. I'm just a little bit surprised we haven't kind of used whatever the metrics were for that model, in terms of putting in some more building blocks for this season. Because at the minute, we appear to be looking a lot in terms of potential to do better rather than having had a pedigree. And clearly Ollie Norburn's an interesting one, and we hope he is able to play as soon as possible. Thoughts?
Yeah. Ollie Norwood, experienced midfielder. Let's get him match fit, and maybe, I know it's rumoured that he's going to be out for a couple of months, but that's October. Difficult signing, a potentially injured player. But if that's what the club needs, then let's hope he can produce some goods alongside Matty Palmer.
Yeah, Chris Gotting says, Belshaw, great shot stopper, but not sure he'd be adept at playing out from the back, which is such a big part in how we play. Chris Gotting says, ready-made keepers and attacking players come at a premium price, says Chris Gosling. Gazali, missing out on some quality. I saw that George Grant went to Salford. That was interesting. Yeah, George was released from his time in Scotland at Hearts, and Salford have been the first to pick him up. Paul Sills says, get Kedwin back from Carlisle. Jürgen Halligan mentions about Ollie Norburn. Yeah, I do think he's probably closer to playing than we think he might be. He's out on the tour. So let's see, and we may well get to see a little bit of Jody Jones with a bit of luck tomorrow. One of the stories that broke today, guys, Lewis Macari, and such is social media. He's been hung, drawn, and quartered on social media. So the situation is, for those of you not fully aware, the club issued a statement today to say that Lewis has been charged with breaches of betting regulations. He's got about a week or so to submit mitigation or a defence to the FA. When you look at the FA's official statement, it's something like 200 to 300 offences. Now, that sounds very dramatic, but the reality of the situation is, if you put, if you're trying to predict 9 wins from 10 games accumulator, that don't count as one bet. All the various permutations. So just a bet like that could be 20 single bets. So it sounds really dramatic. Don't know the ins and outs of it, but maybe not quite as dramatic as it's kind of being painted out. I think we should also point out these offences were alleged to have taken place before Lewis joined Notts. These were when he was just turned 18 over a 2-year period at Stoke City. There's a certain irony there that they're owned by Bet365 Coates family. But anyway.
Yeah.
The Football League, of course, have Tango Bet on the shorts. Is it shorts? I think somewhere last year, every league club has it. What are your thoughts on that, guys? Some people are saying big ban. Some depends on the nature and the severity, get a suspended, if you like, sentence. Any thoughts?
Well, we need it as least ban as possible. Lewis plays decent football down that right back when we play a 4, and when we play as a wing back, he's a decent player. We know Kellen Gordon can slot into that position, so I don't think there's any cover. But silly boy.
It could go either way, couldn't it? We don't know whether it's going to be a big ban, small ban, suspended, or we don't know. So we've just got to wait and see. That's the
Ivan Toney comes to mind.
Yes, I mean there is a huge disparity, as Kim has just enunciated there, in terms of a suspension all the way through to multiple year. You know,
that's right.
So we hope that things get sorted. Yeah. I feel a bit sorry for the lad, if I'm honest with you. You know, how intelligent were we at 18? I'm 62 and I'm not that intelligent now, but I know at 18 I was considerably less intelligent. So it is one of those. I'm guessing. Can you imagine the club secretary, or whatever it is, Martin? Got a bit more bad news for you. Oh, what now?
Yeah, I feel sorry for the club. Yeah.
It just seems to be coming and coming and coming.
Will he play tomorrow night? We don't know.
Well, okay. Here's two for you. Give us straight answers, you two. So you've got Barry Cotter, who was chased by half the Kaiser.
He was. Half of Germany.
Okay. I'll tell you, you're talking about, here's one for you then. So you're talking about the importance of a result, Kim, earlier, right? So you've got Barry Cotter on a red in his last game.
Yeah.
You've got Lewis Macari having been charged by the FA for betting misdemeanours. And you've got Jody Jones just coming back. How many of them three do you start tomorrow or play tomorrow?
Well, it's difficult, but I don't think that Macari should play, because if there is a ban coming through, the idea is to get people ready for the next season, get them sorted out, get them match fit and all this. So if the ban's coming, if it does come, we're wasting a chance of putting somebody else in to get them ready for the season.
To blend the side.
Okay. So how many
Cotter,
of you playing that lot?
Well, Cotter, I would play. If we're allowed to play Cotter, I would play him. I would play him because he's not going to be banned, is he? So we'll play him.
Yeah. Jody Jones, do you put him in?
Jody Jones,
I don't know, because I don't know how fit he is or what is,
Certainly change him at half time.
Yeah, that's a good comment.
Change him from half time.
Okay. Martin Shipley, no footballer should bet on football matches. There's plenty of other things they can legitimately bet on. Jürgen Halligan talking about Barry retreating, I think we can say, from those German players. Fastest he ran all game. John Starr, so thinking of the lad Macari, he will be devastated. But I would be surprised if he gets anything less than 12 months. If you look at Tony and Sandro Tonali at Newcastle, I think the Sandro Tonali one is a different level, as I understand it. And I think Ivan Toney is a different level. This is just hearsay on my part. I don't believe Lewis here is at kind of the worst end of these misdemeanors. But we shall have to wait and see. Gazali, have we got Pele and Sylvester Stallone playing tomorrow? Season sounds like the Great Escape already. Chris Gosling, Lewis Macari was undoubtedly naive. Lucky for him, he's young enough to rebuild his career. But the length of ban means that may or may not be with Notts County. Nigel Cameron feels Lewis may have played his last game. George Harvey, interesting to see, we'll come on to this, what happens with Jata when we're back from Germany. Okay, so conspiracy theories abound and will continue to abound. That the club announced that they were unable to get a visa for Alessandro to come to Germany. His agent then put out a rather inflammatory statement about whether the club had actually used their best endeavours. I think it's fair to say that the agent has got previous when it comes to some of these statements. So what are your thoughts? I do not think the club can entertain the possible sale of Alessandro at the moment, if I'm being brutally honest. We've lost David McGoldrick's 20 goals, Abbott from midfield, Crowley chipping in a bit as well. So there's 30 goals between those two. And if you take off Alessandro's 22, that's 52 goals we've got to find. I agree with, I was sceptical when he first signed. Sceptical. I thought it was a big ask for him, having never played in English football. I think he's done tremendously well. And yes, you can say he tailed away back end of the season, as much because we didn't really have too many other options to give him a rest at any point. And I think he was, I think he was running on fumes at the end of the season. Reality is he's got 22 goals, right? That's a tremendous achievement in your first full season in English football. And maybe he's missed a few. Every striker misses them. I still think at this moment in time, I don't think you can countenance allowing him to leave, irrespective of, the level of bid within reason that's going to be offered to him. A lot of people have spoken about Traore, probably not had the best of starts since his arrival here. He's played some minutes in these opening 2 games, and I think clearly people would be looking to him to potentially fill a void. Okay, I'm just trying to buy myself a bit of time there because Morecambe and Wise have disappeared and haven't yet managed to pop up on my screen. I trust that they're trying to get in as we speak. Dave Hartshorn says Macari should play the next friendly. He hasn't been found guilty yet. Listening to the argument, what if he doesn't get a ban? He will have missed out on pre-season integration. Chris Gosling, would Traore have been able to travel on his visa that was granted within the last 12 months? I don't know how this works. Clearly, there are 2 separate countries here, and the visa system may well be different for those of a Guinea nationality. Don't know. We shall see. Richard Elvian, Jata will not be starting for the first 2 games come what may. That's quite correct. We need a goal scorer. Obviously, we've signed Dennis. It's difficult to formulate too much of a judgment on him so far because he's had so little of the ball. Did notice with the goal against Darmstadt, he made that clever diagonal run in between fullback and centre halves. That's a run, I think, historically for a few years we've not necessarily done a great deal. We tend to keep the ball, don't always turn defenders. So I know that Martin Patterson was very pleased with that goal and that passage of play. What else have we got on the message boards? Derek Flowers. These guys seem to have already decided Lewis's fate. Look, we'll have to wait and see. My understanding is it's not at the, if you like, really, really serious end of the spectrum. Let's get some more thoughts in because we're waiting on the other guys to come in. Paul, is it 3 international players called up and the game is postponed? Won't that apply this season for Notts? Yeah, that's a good point, AD. And, I'm not going to name names here, but there is a view that certain clubs in League 2, when they've got 2 senior internationals, sign a third or get a third on loan so that they can then call games off. You're quite right. So if you have 2 missing, and of course, we would potentially have on a regular occurrence for international weeks, Jody Jones, Malta, and Alessandro Jata, Gambia, away. 2's not enough. You've got to have 3. And they've kind of got to be senior internationals or players, as I understand this, who are regularly involved in the team. So if you have, for instance, an under-21 international that's never played a first-team game for you, he doesn't count. But if your under-21 international has played 12 games, then he does count. So it's kind of senior internationals or those that have an active involvement. So potentially this year, Notts would have 3 if Mia Traore is called up, for example. And as I say, I do know that there are clubs that strategically get a 3rd one, so that then for international weeks they have the option to be able to cancel the games. All kind of, the dark arts and everything that goes on. Langstaff is not coming back, Jürgen Halligan tells me. Look, I don't for a minute think he will, but sometimes with where our supporter base is at the minute, I think we just need a little bit of something to hang your hat on. Richard Elvian contrasts by saying 3 friendlies and only scored a single goal. Stephen Newton says, bring on the chap with the mouth organ and not now Arthur. If I remember, that's one of the old comedic double acts. And the 2 Ronnies, Kim and Eltel, who now look to have given the ghost up on getting back in, unfortunately, or the internet in their hotel room has completely gone kaput. Martin Chippy, it's an interesting one. We'll have a debate on this. Did we start our last match playing 4-4-2? It looked like it. Goodbye wing backs, inverted or otherwise. Now, from my vantage point, I thought we were playing a 3. And we had Riley Reynolds at left wing back. Unfortunately, the header back to the keeper in 15 seconds, and Barry Cotter right wing back. It's looked to me that mainly we've had a 3 at the back. Interestingly, Will Jarvis has been basically constrained to a left wing back role. What are our thoughts? It does appear that for virtually the entire tenure of the brothers, that we have played 3 at the back, and only on very, very isolated occasions have we played a 4. I think probably quite a lot of our fan base would like that. At the minute, from what we've seen in Germany and Alfred, it would look, certainly they've played more minutes as a 3 than as a 4. And Jürgen Halligan, spot on, Jürgen. Is Kuyar not an international for Afghanistan? Yes, I believe he is. So we may well have the 3. So book your holidays. We might be having a few blank weekends on international weekends. You don't know, do you? Okay. Now, competition time. The little red somewhere at the bottom of your screen, subscribe button. So JH Accountants, who together with the Big Shed and the Trent Navigation are 2 of our official partners. We thank them for their support. So JH Accountants have kindly offered to purchase a home shirt and away shirt for competitions for us on the channel. So as we're not quite sure when the home shirt's coming out yet, the away shirt is coming out Friday, I think it is. So we're going to give away a free shirt, size of your choice, to 1 lucky member who is a subscriber to our database, to our YouTube channel. We've got about 2,500. If you've already subscribed, don't worry, you automatically go into the random draw. If not, you need to hit that little red square on your screen that says subscribe. Completely free, doesn't cost you anything to go into the draw. We'll be publishing a few more details, but basically that's all you need to do. Hit that subscribe button and automatically be entered into the draw. More to come on other competitions and information that we've got planned. If you've not yet watched the Matty Platt one-on-one interview, it's very good. He spoke very well from the German training base. Have a listen to that, and we'll be doing a vlog straight after the game. to tomorrow's game, which if the German internet doesn't improve, we'll get up about 3 weeks on Thursday. But no, my son will be as video editor. We'll be working on that as soon as we get away from the ground, back into our hotel room. We'll be posting that tonight. Any feedback on the vlogs so far, what you think of them? And we may well be looking to introduce those every game, really, and have a few guest people on it. We'll have to get the two Ronnies or Morecambe and Wise to do their own vlog to a game, won't we? Dear me, it will be hilarious, I am sure. Derek Flowers likes the blogs. So does David Howard. So does Ian Haywood. I think Adam Kent's, I think he's just seen the red button that you have to press to subscribe to the channel. What else have we got? Yeah. Oh, congratulations to Newport. I think it's the first time ever. I'm now 62. My son Harry is 28. It's frightening. I'm going to get into a game cheaper than him, because if you know, if those of us between 60 and 65, it seems to be 60 is the senior citizens age when you go to Wales for sport and entertainment. So I get my ticket £5 cheaper, 20 quid. I think it's 20, as opposed to, I think, is it 25 for the night for the seats down the side at Newport? Yeah. So tickets are now on sale for that Newport game as well as for the Cardiff friendly. Any other questions, observations that you need answering before I depart? John Parr loves the blogs as well. Thumbs up from Jürgen Halligan. I think that's about it. I was hoping the two Ronnies, aka Morecambe and Wise, aka Kim and Eltel, would be able to get back on, but you've been stuck with me dominating your screen for a little while now. Thank you very much, everyone. As I say, the good thing about Stuttgart Kickers tomorrow, we're playing a comparable team. It's kind of a level playing field, and hopefully, when I'm doing that vlog tomorrow, we'll all be a little bit happier. We'll have had Macaulay Langstaff under the pseudonym A Trialist up top, banging 4 in, Dennis 3, Belshaw in goal, A Trialist, and then we'll all be happy, won't we? So anyway, that's it from me. A couple of steins out in Stuttgart town centre, Beacon, I think. Thank you, one and all. See you on the vlog tomorrow evening. And then I don't know where we're playing Saturday. It's a secret, isn't it? But we'll be back next Monday, if not before. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.